I say, whoa, now there, what's happening with the world? Shemans and them foul shot, aka the Toothless Wonder, reporting on the Bamboozled Again News Network. And today's content will be titled, They'd Rather Complain About What You're Not Than Support Who You're Becoming and Who You Are Now. Yeah, yeah. And I see it just all over, like in my own personal journey, and because I work in the substance abuse mental health field, I see it even in the support system of primarily the brothers that, come to see me or need assistance, facilitating this or where's this at or getting pointed in the right direction. We're in this space now, especially, well, I can't talk about anywhere else but here in Babylon, where people will set themselves up in your life, let's say some type of institution, to knowingly lead you astray. Because if you grow and evolve as a normal human being should, progress, become goal and purpose oriented, the very same people who are set up in your life to help will hinder you from becoming the greatest version of yourself or attempt to curtail that because you're only useful to me as much as I can exploit and use you. Wow. Where did that become a part of the game? But I guess as the world goes darker and the attributes of the adversary become more prevalent in society and people, like in the word where it talks about, in the end times, people will be lovers of money, lovers of themselves, lacking self-control, boasters, proud, truce breakers. That's the whole Babylon, to name a few, that's the whole Babylonian social construct. So I just choose not to fool with it. Now, early in my journey, it was vexing if you're coming out of a thing that you think is, start seeing it for the reality of it, it make you wonder, this can't be everybody. Or maybe I'm just in a weird space. But as I've grown stronger through sustained abstinence, to mood altering substances, then when I read the word and have been given better clarity and wisdom, you can't fault Babylon for Babylon. I have this analogy, right? Let's say I'm in the jungle, right? Now I know there are all types of animals in the jungle, one of which being snakes. It does me no good to become so vexed or fearful of the fact there are snakes here, because snakes are part of the environment, the ecosystem. The key for me is to operate in wisdom and walk about this jungle in a way where it decreases the likelihood of me being bit by one. But being overly concerned with snakes, it steals your joy in the present moment, and it stops you from effectively walking if you're always walking in hypervigilance and fear. Now, I think, a certain amount of awareness is wise and useful and whatnot, but being overly fixated on it, it diverts your focus from the task at hand, the present moment, and the goals that you're attempting to push and struggle forward to. You understand me? It's no different. I use the analogy of dogs barking at the gate. They sound whatever they sound like. They might be foaming out the mouth. They might look menacing, but they can't get in. You know what I'm saying? Unless you overly go over there by the gate, or you don't check to make sure the stuff is locked, or maybe they can hop the gate here and there, or whatever the case may be. All this stuff that's going on now, I believe, is in reference to the world. But if you're been, such as myself, called out of the world, even early in my journey, where it seemed like things were being mysteriously blocked, certain relationships, certain doors of opportunity. Now I see it, I wasn't aware of, so at that point, that's where the trust coming at, and he tell you to trust you, because when I take you through this process, it ain't gonna make no sense. It don't even make no sense now. I just been in it so long, I just know how to navigate it without knowing, if that make any sense. So this content is just, and it sounds very cliche, it's just keep on keeping on. Because what else are you going to do? Do you get tired? Yeah. Do you get frustrated? Yeah, you're a human being. Do you have certain, longings for, whatever the case may be, the next proverbial financial level, I don't know, significant other, so on and so forth. Yeah, just keep banging. Because if you don't keep banging, you're going to get banged on. It's just the reality of the situation. You know what I'm saying? It's like me playing basketball and they get mad when the dude try to dunk on me. That's what he's supposed to do. He's on the court. The key is to play the game in a way in which, again, I limit the ability for him to do that while I score on the other end. I've just never seen, and again, excuse me, in my evolved state, I've just never seen where people are online primarily, and I see it in my personal life with people I know. Everyone's championing or competing to be the victims, the biggest victim. You know what I'm talking about? And yes, things have happened to us all. But with the chosen, what is supposed to happen, no matter how long the duration of the season, right? And everybody goes through stuff. The rain fall on the just and the unjust alike. But what should happen is the pain, trauma should create long suffering. It should create patience. You should be on a path to actually becoming a better version of yourself than you were before all this stuff took place. I'm the smartest I've ever been. I'm the wisest I've ever been. In some physical aspects, I'm in the best shape I've ever been. Granted, I'm not 25. You understand me? You know what I'm saying? I have spiritual instincts I've never had. Actually, I've always had it. But because it defied my intellectual mind, that's why he had to break me out of that. I have never actually really ever been bamboozled. I bamboozled myself, disregarding my own spiritual inklings, because I'm like, nah, they wouldn't do that because I haven't done it to them. Or nah, they say they help, or that's what they're here for. So, because I can't personally do it, I probably done it and then felt bad about it. But I can't maliciously say I'm here to help and then throw you off the path and I get off on that, or that makes me happy. Seeing someone be held back from that which they are trying to achieve. I could be down bad, dirt McGirt, you know what I'm saying? But if a homie say, man, I'm going to try to be a pilot, yo, I'm like, yo, for real? That's what's up, man. Maybe you can help me fly me out of here, cuz. You know what I'm saying? Babylon has now, I know in the Negro community, but it has now become essentially a nation of crabs in a bucket. As long as you're at the bottom, we can hang out, we mingle, we cool. But once you discover you in a bucket and start trying to climb your way out, those which are around you, more oftentimes than not, unless they're on a path of healing themselves, a path to the Most High, in spirit and in truth, are going to flip mode squat and attempt to pull you down. And it'll make you feel some type of way because you might have had these experiences with these people. You might have had hard times with these people I'm seeing people are coming to me telling me that people they've known since the sandbox, they don't recognize no more. Even though they still look the same, but they don't recognize them based on their behavior and how they're now treating them. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing. And I've heard other people on here, like I remember one time, right? I was feeling some type, I was doing treatment, I was feeling some type of way. And I didn't want to feel that way. So typically, if you use drugs, you kind of use drugs to change the way you feel. Whether you're happy, you want to, use drugs to enhance the happiness. You feel down or depressed or whatever, you want to do something to alleviate that, right? So this thing of failure was sitting on me for about 3 days, right? But at first, I'm like, man, what's the point of this? Now, my brain is coming up with these magical ways to like leave treatment and go do this, even though none of those ideas have ever worked right. But it seemed real. So I'm more so an alcoholic, right? So I say, man, I just drink one beer, that'll help me out, right? But then I know if I drink one beer, it'll be about 50 before I think about quitting. And that's gonna blow my whole situation up. So I'm like, nah, I can't do that. Then I'm like, well, I can cop me a little bag of herb or something and get Irie, you know what I mean? Then sit at the park, air out, get my eyeballs together before I go back. But then I'm like, but I'm going to know and I'm going to feel all weird going around people because I'm perpetrating a fraud and my conscience going to tell me they know even if they don't know. So I'm like, but yeah, that's probably the best option. And as I had that thought, I so happened to look down and it looked like somebody had rolled up a blunt, hit it a couple times and dropped it right on the ground. Right there, right in front of my feet as I'm having this thought. I said, nice try, Satan. Stepped over and just complained in my head. But I've noticed once I defeat something that could have, that has blocked me 1,000 times, it's no longer an issue. So again, in a spiritual sense, now I don't believe you can speed up the process, but I definitely you can do like I did and get in your own way and delay it by putting your own thoughts and opinions into the situation. Like, why I gotta do this? Why I gotta work here? Why is it so hard? Because for whatever it is, it's designed to make you who you need to be. That's why. All this, especially here in Rome 2.0, all this comfort and leisure is actually making everybody weak. So when they say, oh, we're going to cut food stamps, okay, I get it. But your brain should then naturally switch to, okay, what can I do now instead of complaining about these people taking away something they've been giving to me? You know what I'm saying? So first thing my brain is going to do, oh, okay, where am I had to look for my fishing rod. Let me go on down here to water. Because complaining is not going to solve the problem. No one, especially in our community, and I think we're curtailed from actually implementing solutions anyway, because of the curse or whatever. But nobody seems to want. Now, people will talk about how bad the situation is, but when you pose a tangible solution to said situation that involves some personal responsibility or some responsibility of what they'll have to do to solve this said problem, nobody want anything to do with it. The entitlement is probably the greatest undiagnosed mental health epidemic that we have here. Even if you look on, I mean, I'm just blown away at this point, each and every day by the proverbial modern. I've seen, you know, the modern woman having a birthday for a kid, for her 2-year-old child, and she's essentially in a bikini or got her cheeks out, taking family photos, no man involved, all her kids, with a wrestling suit on, going to the kids' graduation with the Cheekingtons out and whatnot. I'm like, I'm saying, I'm seeing a lot of content about people living in storage sheds or homeless shelters, and the women are getting put out because they don't eat a certain thing. Not like poor or anything religious, but this is beneath them. You know what I'm saying? There's no humility. There's no. Scarface had a verse. He said, it ain't no love in this mother. It ain't no love for yourself or your other brother. Ain't none. Somebody who, I'm just, going off on here. But now, as I come to discover, like, oh, people say, I love you, right? But how can you love me until you love you? But how do you know somebody love themselves? Based on what they tolerate and who they fool with. When you truly value yourself, and we ain't talking about on no Kevin Samuels type tip, right? Such as myself. And it's not even so much that I value myself now. I value what the Most High has forged in me, and I see the value in it. So I'm very protective of that. So I don't let people play with my time. I don't let people insult my intelligence. You know what I'm saying? It actually makes me mad. Again, in this nation of everyone attempting to be some master manipulator, it's just insane. The narrow path is seemingly getting narrower. However, simultaneously, all praise to the Most High, right? The world, as I see it for what it is, doesn't have anything to offer me. I'm completely disgusted by the harlot. And I ain't talking about anybody who, like, there's one thing to be a harlot, but then be repentant, feel bad about it, but not know what to do and still do it. There's a certain countenance on someone like that. Or even the brother who maybe sold drugs, he's repentant, but he's trying to find a job, he's trying to humble himself. That's different. What I'm saying is, harlot, let's say on the female side of things, drug dealer man on the male side of things, and they're championing shameful acts. I'm the drug dealer man, I'm such and such in the black community, and the black community will, excuse me, will praise such individual essentially by selling the man's drugs, destroying the black community. And then you get locked out, let's say 10 years, they take everything from you, then you got to start over from scratch. And this is what we're praising. We need to rethink this whole demonstration. And I think a lot of us are. But it is, and I know this person, it is hard to break away or to come to the understanding that what you thought was ain't. Then it's like, now what I do? Then for me, my friends aren't my friends. They're actually jackals. You know what I'm saying? the things that I was doing to, have fun or whatever, was actually destroying me spiritually. You know what I mean? Then you had to go into this isolation period, which mine has been kind of extended. Now it's not, let's say, an imposed isolation by the Most High. It's almost like He put a spiritual, electrical collar inside of me. Now I know how to isolate myself purposely because there ain't a whole lot to fool with. I don't want to go to no great big show, not unless it's of a certain, I don't know, maybe the Osley Brothers concert or maybe the community event where everybody's getting together and actually trying to solve the problem or help someone or whatever the case may be. Outside of that, it's a futile effort in my humble opinion, just for me. I don't get nothing out of it. I don't get nothing out of a whole 2-hour PowerPoint lectures looking at percentages and all this here. I don't even need to do all that. I already know what the problem is. I already know how to solve the problem. But again, here's the inversion of Babylon. There are so many people who make money on the problem staying the way it is. Let's say the family unit being disrupted, child support, divorce court lawyers, jails, all these other interlocking entities that make problems on you. You know how many people get paid off, let's say, you going into rehab or going to jail? If everybody stopped using drugs, or let's say there was a significant dent, let's just say 25%, the industry falls apart. It's real in the battlefield. Man, don't let nobody stop your shine. Don't let nobody stop your grind. If they're not for you, by default, they're against you. And it is what it is. And I was talking to a couple of homies, and you'll be blown away by who this get manifested in. Folk that it never would have crossed your mind, but you'll start hearing them saying certain stuff that'll have you like, or they'll do certain stuff like, why, yo? Because the game all spiritual, baby. It's always been spiritual. We're just in a spiritual time where that which is hidden, such as us, the chosen, or the true intentions of folks, is bubbling to the forefront in their behavior. It looks like everything being revealed. Who you truly is, you know what I'm saying? All the things you've overcome, you know what I'm saying? And you're actually a better version, such as when the Most High said, I will take you through the fire, and you'll come out on the other side, and you won't even smell like smoke. You'll just have a whole bunch of wisdom. You'll be able to have a relationship with me and yourself. You know what I'm saying? You'll have the fruit of the spirit of self-control, meekness, and gentleness. You know what I'm saying? Had a situation, come new to the active fatherhood thing, right? On a daily basis. So, when I'm dealing with a teenage girl, it is what it, especially here in Babylon, you know what I'm saying? She just felt however she felt. And I just did like the old school grandmothers I grew up with. I just put my hand on her shoulder and I just talked to her, meekly and softly. And next thing I know, like my homeboys used to do me, I got her laughing. We all right now. So get on up out of here, depression demon. He got to go too. You know what I'm saying? It's just warfare, baby. Actually, this new renewed mind of mine likes the idea of battling for righteousness' sake, for my family, for the homies in the struggle. You know what I'm saying? I think that's part of my purpose. My dad told me one time, I said, boy, you real self-sacrificial. Which I do believe is a noble trait for the man who is willing to sacrifice himself or his comfortability for that which he believes is greater than he himself. And on that note, I'm going to holler at y'all. I got to get to work. Y'all stay up out here. One love, baby. You know I do it.